Hello, and welcome to Phil Brown's Computer Networking Lab. You're watching the instructional video called DHCP Configuration. We are now on the server DHCP1. Let's create a new DHCP server on this computer. The first thing we're going to want to do is to make sure that we have a static IP address. Let's go down to the Start button and click on the Control panel. From here we can go to the Network and Sharing Center. And finally we can access the Ethernet Properties window. Okay, we can see that DHCP is turned off in this property box, and it has a static IP address. Let's also verify the computer name on this computer as being DHCP1. We'll click on the System Property tab, and we can see that the full name is dhcp1.philbrown.local. Good, we're ready to begin. Okay, now we're inside the Server Manager. Let's click on the Manage button so we can access the Roles and Feature Wizard. We want to install this on the local server. Now we need to put a check inside of the DHCP server checkbox so we can add it to our list of roles. And we do not need to add any more features. And finally, we can confirm everything that we've done. Okay, it looks like it's finished. Okay, now let's set up the DHCP. We will go up to the Administrative Tools and choose the DHCP server. I'll expand it so we can see the whole thing. Let's take a look at our options. I'm going to add a new scope where this DHCP server will be handing out IP addresses. I'll just simply call it Site 1, and we could use any description that we want. I'll add the range that this DHCP server is responsible for. And I also want to decrease the amount of area the subnet mask uses for this segment. In this window, I can exclude certain areas of the IP range that this DHCP is responsible for. That would include things like the IP range for the routers, printers, servers, and other such equipment. I would also exclude any IP addresses that I'm going to give to backup DHCP servers. I'll use the default. Here I'm given the option to add other entries for the DHCP server. I want to configure these other options now. Here we can set up the default gateway that the clients who get the DHCP packets are supposed to use. And next, I'm going to put in the domain name and also the DNS servers I want the clients to use. Incidentally, it has already pulled information from my own network card, as you can see here. And here you can see that it pulled the WINS server information from my network card. But if I wanted to, I could add another WINS server. I'll add it to the list. Okay, it's giving me the choice of whether or not I want to start this up now. Yes, I do. You can see that there's a green check mark showing that the DHCP server is up and running. Now let's take a look at some of the information about the scope that we just created. Here's the pool of addresses that we have. And here we could create a new reserve address. For example, if we wanted to give a certain printer a specific IP address, all we needed to do was put in its MAC address and which IP address we wanted to have. Let's take a look at the inside of the printer record. Now let's go to PC1 and verify that the DHCP server is working correctly. I'll type up ipconfig to verify that this currently has an IP address. Then I'll type a ipconfig release to cancel the lease. As you can see, it no longer has an IP address. Now I'll type an ipconfig renew and see if it gets an IP address. Yes, there it goes. The DHCP server is working correctly. In this video, we saw an example of how DHCP could be useful for configuring client computers with dynamic IP addresses and other information. I hope this video has been informative, and I thank you for viewing.